I doubled it in one season. Do you understand what that means? I took 40 acorns, I put them in the ground, in the water, in a spreadsheet, and now there are 80. 80. I am not a loan officer anymore, I am a force.
Meet my sister. She has a fund now. Capy is happy for her. Capy is also aware that a season is not a strategy, but Capy will let the village figure that one out.
I want it on the record that 6 weeks ago, every one of these relatives called her a squirrel wannabe. 6 weeks ago, they were laughing. Now look at the tail wags. I have never seen loyalty appear this fast in a species this large.
Capy has watched money change how a family looks at you. It happens fast. It happened here in one wet afternoon. Yesterday they wouldn't share a walnut. Today they'd share a kidney.
I named it the Marsh Acorn Growth Instrument. I have a logo. It is an acorn wearing a tiny crown. I designed it at 4 in the morning while yelling at a candlestick chart, and I regret nothing.
Capy watched the crown do more work than the strategy ever could. A drawing of a nut with a hat outperformed 12 years of finance degrees today. Capy respects the hat.
The strategy is simple. I buy acorns when the river is calm, and I sell them when the river is loud. That's it. I have tried to explain it, and nobody listens because they only hear the number 80. 80 broke their brains.
Capy has stood in that same river. The river has told Capy nothing, just cold. Very cold ankles. This is Percival Ledger. He runs actual money. He has just requested a formal meeting with a chinchilla's cousin about nut yields. She has a waterproof pitch deck. Slide 4 is just the word 80 in gold. Capy is not making this up.
I flew in for this. I have real positions. I have a Bloomberg terminal. I have a therapist. And I am here in a marsh because somebody doubled a bag of nuts, and I cannot let that stand. My whole thesis is unraveling in a wetland.
A meerkat with a private jet just landed in a swamp to interrogate a bag of nuts. Capy would offer him a towel, but Capy suspects he flew in without one on purpose. Suffering is part of his brand. The village has assembled. They call it a family gathering. It is a shareholder meeting with snacks. Capy has been to shareholder meetings. This one has better snacks. This one also has a duck. There is always a duck.
We would like to formally apologize. When you started the acorn thing, I personally called it the saddest hedge fund in the wetland. I said it at dinner. I said it twice. And now I would like to invest my life savings, which is a jar of hazelnuts and a coupon.
I want to enjoy this. I do. 6 weeks ago, you wouldn't lend me a single walnut, and now you're crying into your coupon jar. But I keep saying it was one season. And every time I say it, you just nod like I'm being humble.
Capy has heard apology used as a down payment before. They aren't sorry they mocked her. They're sorry they didn't get in at 40. Grief and greed wear the same coat out here.
I'm not asking for tips. I would never ask for tips. I'm asking for the exact sequence of decisions you made, in order with timestamps, so I can copy them precisely and then pretend it was entirely my own genius. That's completely different. That's research.
Uncle came up out of the reeds. Uncle has not moved in 2 years. Uncle moved for this. Somewhere a survivorship bias joke is writing itself, and Capy is just going to sit in the mud and let it happen.
I have canceled every subscription in my life to raise capital. I killed my streaming, my meal kit, my mindfulness app, mid-meditation. I am liquid now. I am pure liquid capital, and I am pointing all of it at your acorns. Take it. Take it all.
She cancelled a mindfulness app to buy nuts from an otter. Capy would point out the irony, but Capy suspects irony has already left this marsh entirely. Capy is the only mindfulness in the wetland now, and Capy is unpaid.
I need to know, which candle? Was it the green candle or the red candle? Because I've been staring at candles for 6 weeks, and they all just look like little rage rectangles, and I am starting to see faces in them. The candles have faces now.
A squirrel is seeing faces in rectangles and calling it due diligence. Capy sees a squirrel who needs a nap. Same chart, 2 very different readings. The relatives have formed a line. There is a line. In the mud, to give money to a chinchilla's cousin who runs a nut fund. Capy has seen bank runs. This is a bank run, but toward the bank, and everyone is very excited about it.
Let me tell you about me. I sold when the river got loud in July, and it happened to be right. It could just as easily have been wrong. Do you hear me? Wrong, and you would all be calling me the sad wetland hedge fund again by Tuesday.
Capy notices she keeps saying wrong, and the crowd keeps hearing humble. She is handing them a warning, and they are laminating the wrapper. This is what a top looks like from the inside.
Ma'am, I don't want your honest disclaimer. I want the Crown Acorn logo, the gold slide, and the feeling that 80 gave me. Can I just buy the feeling? What's the fee on the feeling? Because whatever it is, that's not a cost. That's a feature.
He asked the fee on a feeling. She said the feeling is not for sale. Capy watched a luxury duck try to expense an emotion. Capy is taking notes for absolutely no reason. Capy just enjoys watching the market discover its own soul. A hedge fund manager with a real terminal, real degrees, and real trauma just got outbid by a picture of a nut wearing a crown. The market is efficient, they said. The market is rational, they said. The market is currently a duck fighting a squirrel for spot in line.
Here is what nobody wants to hear. Half the squirrels who tried this last year are gone. They buried their acorns, forgot the spots, lost the whole bag. You don't see them at this table because they're not at any table anymore. That's the part the number 80 doesn't show.
So you're saying there's a chance I forget where I bury my nuts? No, wait, I heard chance. I heard acorns. I heard last year. My brain filtered out everything scary and kept only the exciting words. I'm in for double. Where do I sign? The mud.
She just described the graveyard of everyone who lost. They heard graveyard and immediately asked if it was a growth opportunity. Capy loves this family. Capy will not be investing. Capy will be observing from the mud at a comfortable distance. The line has now doubled, which is the only thing in this marsh that reliably doubles. Jars, coupons, promissory notes, one duckling's entire allowance. And at the very back, unmoving, half-submerged, one capybara who did not bring a jar. The mud does not require a minimum investment.
You know what? I'll do it too. I'll open my fund. Call it the Institutional Nut Vehicle. Fee structure, 2 and 20, plus snacks. Same nuts, more paperwork. Who's in? Come on, I have a terminal. Why are you all looking at the acorn crown instead of my terminal?
The village turned as one and walked away from the hedge fund meerkat toward the otter with a drawing of a nut. This is the most honest market Capy has ever witnessed. Nobody wanted the terminal. Everybody wanted the crown. Capy respects the wetland's priorities.
Let me reframe this for the room. She didn't get lucky. Luck is such a negative word. She got weather blessed. She has seasonal alpha. She's river native. These aren't excuses. These are premium amenities. And you, the discerning relative, deserve access to premium amenities.
Those are not amenities. Those are just the word luck in a nicer coat. River native. I grew up in this river. Everyone here grew up in this river. Being river native is not a strategy, it's just being wet. We are all extremely wet. It did not double our nuts.
She keeps telling the truth. They keep hearing a sales pitch. This is the whole video, honestly. Capy could have left after scene 4, but Capy stayed because Capy enjoys watching an honest woman get worshipped for the one thing she keeps insisting was an accident.
Okay. So the formula is, be wet, watch the river, be born here, sell in July, and the acorn wears a crown. I'm writing it all down. If I do exactly these 5 things, I get 80. It's a recipe now. It's science. It's guaranteed science.
A squirrel just converted an accident into a recipe. He wrote be wet as step 1. Capy is technically wetter than everyone here, and Capy's acorns are still 0. The recipe has a flaw. They now have a laminated formula, 5 steps. Be wet, watch the river, sell in July, crown the acorn, and 1 step that is just the word science, underlined twice. The wetland has produced its first sacred text, and it is a leaf. Capy is not in the leaf.
I have a master's in this. I have modelled risk for 12 years. And a laminated leaf just outmarketed my entire firm. I'm going to go stand in the river. Maybe the river will tell me something. The river told her things. Why won't the river talk to me?
He went to stand in the river to ask it for tips. Capy has stood in that river. The river does not give tips. The river is water, but Capy will not tell him that. Some meerkats need to hear the silence themselves. It builds character.
Fine. Everyone gets a starter acorn. 1. And a disclaimer form. You have to sign the part that says, past performance means nothing, out loud, into the reeds. So the whole marsh hears you agree to it. That is my only condition. Say it back to me.
I don't care what the disclaimer says. I'm framing mine. Past performance means nothing. Beautiful. Inspirational even. It's going right next to the laminated formula that says, past performance means everything. Both true. Both framed. I contain multitudes and also several nuts.
They signed a form that says the past means nothing, then filed it beside a leaf that says the past means everything. Capy would resolve the contradiction, but the contradiction is the family heirloom now. Capy respects tradition. My sister built a real thing and stayed honest while the entire village tried to turn one lucky season into a religion. Capy is proud of her. Capy is also technically still in the mud. Capy has commitment issues with getting up.
All right, one more time from the top so everybody actually hears it. It was the timing. It was the weather. It was luck. I am writing the word weather on this board, and next season it might do nothing. Are we clear? Is everybody finally clear?
The mud never doubled, the mud never crashed. The mud is not a strategy. But the mud is here. And the mud is comfortable, and the mud has no minimum, no fee, and no laminated leaf. She's writing weather on the whiteboard again. They're taking notes. Capy is unmoved.